All right, we are getting to my favorite part. Like I've been talking about, the fox is my favorite part of this story. So we're going to hear a little bit more about the fox. It was then that the fox appeared. Good morning, said the fox. Good morning, the little prince answered politely, though when he turned around he saw nothing. I'm here, the voice said, under the apple tree. Who are you? The little prince asked. You are very pretty. I'm a fox, said the fox. Come and play with me, the little prince proposed. I'm feeling so sad. I can't play with you, the fox said. I'm not tamed. Oh, excuse me, said the little prince, but upon reflection he added, what does tamed mean? You're not from around here, the fox said. What are you looking for? I'm looking for people, said the little prince. What does tamed mean? People, said the fox, have guns and they hunt. It's quite troublesome. And they also raise chickens. That's the only interesting thing about them. Are you looking for chickens? No, said the little prince. I'm looking for friends. What does tamed mean? It's something that's been too often neglected. It means to create ties. To create ties? That's right, the fox said. For me, you're only a little boy, just like 100,000 other little boys, and I have no need of you. And you have no need of me either. For you, I'm only a fox like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, we'd need each other. You'd be the only boy in the world for me. I'd be the only fox in the world for you. I'm beginning to understand, the little prince said. There's a flower. I think she's tamed me. Possibly, the fox said. On Earth, one sees all kinds of things. Oh, this isn't on Earth, the little prince said. The fox seemed quite intrigued. On another planet? Yes. Are there hunters on that planet? No. Now that's interesting. And chickens? No. Nothing's perfect, sighed the fox, but he returned to this idea. My life is monotonous. I hunt chickens. People hunt me. All chickens are just alike, and all men are just alike. So I'm rather bored. But if you tame me, my life will be filled with sunshine. I will know the sound of footsteps that will be different from all the rest. Other footsteps send me back underground. Yours will call me out of my burrow like music. And then, look, you see the wheat fields over there? I don't eat bread. For me, wheat is of no use whatsoever. Wheat fields say nothing to me, which is sad. But you have hair the color of gold, so it will be wonderful once you've tamed me. The wheat, which is golden, will remind me of you, and I'll love the sound of the wind in the wheat. Let me show you the picture of the fox, and then of a hunter down there. The fox fell silent and stared at the little prince for a long while. Please tame me, he said. I'd like to, the little prince replied, but I haven't much time. I have friends to find and so many things to learn. The only things you learn are the things you tame, said the fox. People haven't time to learn anything. They buy things ready made in stores. But since there are no stores where you can buy friends, people no longer have friends. If you want a friend, tame me. What do I have to do? Asked the prince. You will have to be very patient, the fox answered. First, you'll sit down a little ways from me, over there in the grass. I'll watch you out of the corner of my eye, and you won't say anything. Language is the source of misunderstandings, but day by day you'll be able to sit a little closer. The next day, the little prince returned. It would have been better to return at the same time, the fox said. For instance, if you come at 4 in the afternoon, I'll begin to be happy by 3. The closer it gets to 4, the happier I'll feel. By 4, I'll be all excited and worried. I'll discover what it costs to be happy. If you come at any old time, I'll never know when I should prepare my heart. There must be rights. What is a right? Asked the little prince. That's another thing that's been too often neglected, said the fox. It's the fact that one day is different from all other days, 1 hour from the other hours. My hunters, for example, have a right. They dance with the village girls on Thursdays. So Thursday's a wonderful day. I can take a stroll all the way to the vineyards. If the hunters danced whenever they chose, the days would all be alike, and I'll have no holiday at all. That was how the little prince tamed the fox. And when the time to leave was near. Ah, the fox said, I shall weep. It's your own fault, the little prince said. I never wanted you to do you any harm, but you insisted that I tame you. Yes, of course, the fox said. But you're going to weep, said the little prince. Yes, of course, the fox said. Then you'll get nothing out of it. I get something, the fox said, because of the color of the wheat. Then he added, Go look at the roses again. You'll understand that yours is the only rose in all the world. Then come back to say goodbye, and I'll make you the gift of a secret. So there's the fox again in his den. The little prince went to look again at the roses. You're not at all like my rose. You're nothing at all yet, he told them. No one has tamed you, and you haven't tamed anyone. You're the way my fox was. He was just a fox like 100,000 others, but I've made him my friend, and now he's the only fox in all the world. And the roses were humbled. You're lovely, but you're empty, he went on. One couldn't die for you. Of course, an ordinary passerby would think my rose looked just like you. But my rose, all on her own, is more important than all of you together, since she's the one I've watered, since she's the one I put under glass, since she's the one I shelter behind a screen, since she's the one for whom I killed the caterpillars, except the 2 or 3 for butterflies. Since she's the one I listened to when she complained, or when she boasted, or even sometimes when she said nothing at all, since she's my rose. And he went back to the fox. Goodbye, he said. Goodbye, said the fox. Here's my secret. It's quite simple. One sees clearly only with the heart. Anything essential is invisible to the eyes. Anything essential is invisible to the eyes, the little prince repeated in order to remember. It's the time you spent on your rose that makes your rose so important. It's the time I spent on my rose, the little prince repeated in order to remember. People have forgotten this truth, the fox said, but you mustn't forget it. You become responsible forever for what you've tamed. You're responsible for your rose. I'm responsible for my rose, the little prince repeated in order to remember. So that's the friendship between the fox and the prince, which is such a beautiful friendship that it was so hard for them to say goodbye, right? The fox was weeping, but it was so important that they became friends. There's really nothing like a friend that you've spent time getting to know, that you've spent time caring for, just like he cares for the rose, just like he took time to know the fox. Um, yeah, anything is essential. Anything essential is invisible to the eyes. The only thing that's essential, right? Those things that are invisible, like friendship, like God, God Himself, and that friendship with God. So, what I would like you to do for this part is I want you to draw something that you've tamed, in the words of the fox, right? So, something that you've taken a lot of time with, maybe your best friend, maybe maybe somebody in your family, okay, somebody that you somebody that is unlike everybody else, right? So like the fox, he looks at the color of the wheat and he doesn't necessarily think that wheat is all that important, but it's important because of his friend and the color of his friend's hair. So maybe think a little bit about this. This is kind of an important part of the book about friendship and things that are essential, that are invisible to the eyes, right? And that's kind of the challenge of doing art. So this is something that's probably the most important thing about art is trying to show those things that are most important, those things that are invisible, with things that you can see, right? Paper, pencil, crayons. Um, so try and see what happens with your art.